everyone. I'm Aarti and I'm a data and analytics consultant at Tharagood Associates based out of Bangalore, India. For those who haven't heard of us, Tharagood is an independent specialist data and analytics consultancy with a focus on data engineering, data science, and data visualization. Our approach is based on understanding business goals and using the capabilities of technology to meet these goals so that customers and business objectives are at the forefront. Let's quickly look at what Amazon QuickSight actually is. Amazon QuickSight is a fully managed cloud-based business intelligence service within the AWS product suite. Everything is in cloud, which means we don't need to worry about provisioning any resources. We don't need to worry about any infrastructure needs. Everything is handled by AWS. It allows us to connect to our data. We can create calculated fields using the data we have to build up our report, use the data we prepare to create visualization, and finally share the dashboard which contains important reports or trends with analysts, end users, and others. We can connect various data sources that we can use to provide data for analyses. We can connect to various AWS services such as S3, Athena, Aurora, etc. We can also connect to services that are not native to AWS, such as relational data sources like MySQL or Microsoft SQL Server, and SaaS data sources such as Salesforce, Twitter API, etc. In our demo, we'll be connecting to Amazon Athena to get data for analyses. To learn more about Amazon QuickSight, such as its pricing model, its key features, check out the link in the description to a webcast about Amazon QuickSight by my colleague. Now, before jumping to the dashboard, let's take a quick look at the backend processing of data before we use it in QuickSight. In our demo, we use a real estate sales data set which is stored in Amazon S3 bucket. It's a simple storage service which stores data as objects within buckets or container. The data can then be ingested by AWS Glue, which is a serverless data integration service where you perform ETL operations. We can store our data set as tables inside databases in AWS Glue Data Catalog with the help of Glue Crawler. AWS Athena is an interactive query engine to analyze the data using SQL. One of its input can be the table stored in AWS Glue Data Catalog. The query output can then be stored back into our S3 buckets. We can then connect to Athena from QuickSight to analyze the data visually and recognize various trends present in the data by creating reports or visuals. Let's get started with our demo. The data set that we are going to use for this demo is real estate sales data of all towns in Connecticut from 2006 to 2022. This is a dummy data set and there are different fields such as the year it came into market for sale, date at which it was sold, the sales amount, and also a category field called property type and a subcategory field called building type. If you take a look at the left, you can see the fields that we are going to use in analyses. We can also add calculated fields. In our demo, we use three calculated fields. One is years in market, which represents the number of years a particular property stayed in market. Sales years representing the year in which property was sold, and average price being an aggregated calculated field, which shows the average price of properties in a particular town. You can also do various other things in the dataset console, like you can exclude a particular field, you can change the name or data type of a particular field, and so on. Now, let's move on to the dashboard. The purpose of this dashboard is to analyze and recognize trends in the last 16 years of real estate sales data. We have partitioned the dashboard into three sheets. A summary sheet to give an overview about the data, a sheet to give sales details for a particular town, and a sheet to give details about top and least selling business types. Now, we have a control on here, making this dashboard interactive. You can choose a particular year and the dashboard will change its details to narrow down on the year. This can be created using parameter control. Parameters in QuickSight are variables that can transfer a value for use by an action. So selecting an year is an action which sets as a filter to the chosen value and the dashboard reacts to the user's choice. For example, let's say we choose the year 2006. So as you can see, the total sales card, number of properties sold card, and the bar chart changes value accordingly. So for the year 2006, total sales is around $1.2 billion and around 3,822 properties have been sold in the year 2006. As another example, let's look at the year 2016. You can see the total sales is now $2.94 billion and around 11,000 properties have been sold in the year 2006. It shows us the sales have been better for the year 2016 than 2006. You can also notice how the color of the text changes with the value. So now this is achieved by conditional formatting, where you can set the color of text for different ranges of values. We have a bar chart here which shows sales by property type. As you can see, for the year 2016, the sales of commercial property type is very low than condo or residential property type. Let's take a look at overall view of sales by property type. When you give the filter to be all years, you can still notice the sales for commercial property type is still lower than condo or residential property type. We have different building types for each property. What if you want to take a look at them but don't want to add another chart and filter it for each type? We can look at the subcategory details by drilling down on a particular category. So if you click on any of the bar, you can see drill down to building type. So as you can see now, the sales details are by the building type for the residential property type. You can again drill up by choosing any one of the bar and choosing drill up to property type, or you can give the up arrow over here. Now, let's say you want to see the number of properties sold or total sales by a particular property type, again without adding additional visuals. We can do that by adding a same sheet visual filter action. Actions are again another way to make the dashboard interactive, where you can create different actions like filtering, URL action, or navigation action. So let's say I'm again choosing residential bar, and you can see sales and properties sold. You can see the total sales is now shown for the residential property type. So a total sales of $29.04 billion and around 71,000 properties are sold under residential property type. Here we have area chart for assess value versus sales amount. As you can see, there is a sudden surge in the sales amount for the year 2021, almost around $14 billion. Now, this is inconsistent with the other data points. Something has happened this particular year. So we can flag this and report it back or investigate more to understand why this is happening. There could be a number of reasons for this, such as COVID time, or it could also mean there is some inconsistency in the area, or there is some anomaly with the data. So it's always good to flag these outliers and go back and understand why such event occurred. And down here, you can see two visuals, which are nothing but insights generated by QuickSight. When you create certain visuals, QuickSight would automatically generate some insights which we can bring into our sheet. All insights are generated by using a value and a category. You can also generate customized insight by choosing the field that you want insights on. To the left here, we have a word cloud showing top 100 towns which has sold highest number of properties. Let's say we are now interested to know the sales details of a particular town. So we can create a separate sheet for that and choose a particular town from the word cloud in the summary sheet that would take us to the sales by town sheet. This concept is called drill through. This is again achieved by adding a navigation action. So let's say I want to look at the sales details of the Stamford town. So as you can see, if you click on Stamford, you can see sales for Stamford. And it's taking me to the sales by town sheet. Here you can see a dynamic title which shows the town name that we have chosen. Here we have sales by year, sales across different years. And you can see the sales for 2008 is the least with just $38.7 billion. This could be because of economic recession at the time. There was a lot of financial uncertainty and most of the banks tightened their policy on mortgages. So people would have been skeptical to invest on properties in that particular year or in the next few years. To the right, we have a donut chart for sales by property. As you can see, more than 50% sales are towards condo property, followed by residential, which only contributes to 36% of sales, and commercial type properties only contribute to 8% of the total sales. So we can say that condo type properties are more bought in the Stamford town. Down here, we have a pivot table which shows on an average how long each property stayed in the market. As we can see, commercial properties on an average stayed in the market for less than a year, and the condo type properties stayed on an average of around a year. And for residential type properties, we have mixed result. The single family and four family dwelling building types stayed in the market of around less than a year, but two family and three family stayed in the market for about a year or year and a half. So which shows single family and four family building types are bought more often than two or three family building type. To the right, we have a pivot table which shows properties that stayed in market for more than a year. So as you can see, in the year 2011, 78 properties stayed in the market for around 4 years. So we can dive deep into this and try to analyze what kind of properties were present in the market for 4 years out of the 78 properties. You can do similar kind of analysis for all the towns present in the summary sheet. Now, let's say we want to see some details on sales of each property type. Similar to how we drill through from summary sheet to sales by town from word cloud, I have set up a drill through from the bar chart here. So let's say we are now interested in condo. So you can choose condo type and see sales of condo. It takes us to the sales by property page, where again you can see a dynamic title where it shows the property type that you choose. It shows details of top selling and least selling building type. So the least selling building type for condo type properties is condo turned hotels with total sales of about $1.5 million and 5,719 properties sold. Here, for the top selling building type, we can see non-business storage type condos with a total sales of $9.84 billion and around 38,000 properties sold. Here we have a tree map which shows the top 50 towns based on number of properties sold and average price of properties in that town. The size of the tree map is by number of properties sold, and the color of the tree map represents the average price in that town. Yellow or gold color represents high average price, and purplish color shows lower average price. You can see that Rocky Hill stands in the middle of the tree map with average price of about $1.74 million and total of 604 properties sold. But you can see that it's highlighted in bright yellow color, representing that average price of the properties in that town is the highest, making it one of the most expensive place to buy non-business storage condos and also making it one of the most desirable town in Connecticut for non-business storage condos. This is backed up by the customized insight we have on the right, which shows Rocky Hill is in fact the town that has made highest sale for non-business storage condo type. We can do similar analyses for lease selling building type. Here you can see Rocky Hill is again the town which has highest average price of properties but has just sold 66 properties. So we are at the end of the demo. Hope you guys enjoyed it and was able to see or experience cool features of QuickSight. Thank you all for joining and watching this video. Hope you guys found it useful. To learn more about QuickSight, do check out the link in description. Please reach out if you have any questions or looking for more information. I have left my contact information here. Thank you.